If you rely entirely on commercial AI coding agents right now, you are building your workflow inside a walled garden. Eventually, you'll need to shatter that glass to keep your edge. When you tie your entire development process to a single proprietary ecosystem, you hand over your leverage. If the provider's language models stagnate or their API costs double overnight, your hands are tied. That is exactly the dependency OpenCode solves. It's an MIT-licensed, open-source alternative with over 150,000 stars on GitHub, designed specifically to break you out of that ecosystem. The core philosophy here is being provider-agnostic. Instead of a commercial tool forcing you to use their in-house language model, OpenCode acts as an independent shell. This matrix shows how that plays out. We have standard lockdown tools like Copilot or Claude Code against OpenCode. With the proprietary options, your model choice and execution environments are restricted by default. But with OpenCode, you can start a session with Claude 3.7 for complex logic, seamlessly swap to GPT-5 if OpenAI drops prices tomorrow, or run entirely local models to keep your internal code strictly on your own hardware. Owning your own toolchain means you aren't just renting a workflow, you're securing the ability to switch models whenever performance or pricing shifts in your favor. To understand how OpenCode executes this, look at who built it. These are hardcore Neovim power users and the developers behind Terminal.shop, which explains its uncompromising terminal-first design philosophy. Their biggest departure from standard tools is their client-server architecture. Normally, trying to process heavy AI tasks directly inside a local terminal interface burns system resources and clutters the UI thread. As you see in this architecture map, OpenCode bypasses that bottleneck by physically decoupling the front-end interface from the heavy processing engine. You have your lightweight client on the left and your heavy lifting on the right. The intensive LLM workload runs entirely on that remote server as a background service. Your laptop simply sends rapid request packets, keeping your local terminal lightning fast. But wait, this is where they totally flexed on Claude Code. By separating the client from the server, OpenCode paves the way for genuine remote pair programming. You can even drive the AI core from a mobile app without sacrificing any of the speed you expect from a local terminal. Most standard AI coding assistants have a massive blind spot. They read your codebase purely as plain text strings. They guess at how your files interact based on basic pattern matching. OpenCode bypasses that guesswork by integrating the Language Server Protocol, or LSP. This visualization shows the difference. On the left, an AI reads static text. On the right, LSP integration gives the AI semantic awareness. It actually maps out your abstract syntax tree, understanding the rules, variables, and function relationships. Because the AI possesses this map, it can utilize native IDE features internally. It runs its own autocomplete and uses go-to-definition to hunt down the exact origin of a bug. It actively catches and diagnoses code errors on its own, patching the logic before it even attempts to execute the final code. There is a direct trade-off here. Configuring LSP requires significantly more manual setup per programming language compared to standard plug-and-play desktop applications. This level of technical depth is exactly why 150,000 developers have starred the project. It moves the conversation beyond basic text completion. Giving an AI native semantic awareness drastically reduces hallucinated code and stops the agent from making blind assumptions about your files. To protect those files during automated edits, OpenCode relies on a multi-agent workflow. You toggle between specialized agents instantly just by hitting the tab key. Your default is the build agent. It has full write access and autonomous execution privileges to draft and test code. But if you toggle over to the plan agent, you enter a strictly read-only mode. This chart details how the plan agent behaves. It is hard-coded to halt and request human permission. If it needs to run a bash command or alter a script, the action stops cold at this tollgate until you approve it. That makes it the ideal tool for exploring massive, unfamiliar codebases safely, without the risk of an automated script accidentally deleting a vital directory. There is also a hidden @general subagent. You use it to handle complex, multi-step background logic, so your main workflow context doesn't get flooded with search results. Ultimately, this multi-agent system provides the speed of high-level automation without the catastrophic risks of unsupervised codebase modifications. Now for the reality check. OpenCode is a bleeding-edge tool, not a polished enterprise product.
The primary technical bottleneck right now is severe memory management. Text rendering can get incredibly sluggish. This graph illustrates exactly what users are dealing with. Resource usage climbs steadily until it spikes violently into the red danger zone. It's such a known issue that there is an ongoing memory megathread on GitHub under issue 2695 to track it. You also need to be aware that the desktop app is still in beta. Users regularly hit authentication bugs when trying to connect certain providers like Claude via OAuth. If you adopt this tool today, you are actively trading standard corporate software stability for ultimate architectural control, and that requires a willingness to endure crashes. Ultimately, choosing a coding agent comes down to balancing cost against your need for workflow flexibility. On this ROI quadrant chart, walled garden tools like Copilot and Claude Code sit top left, ideal for teams prioritizing plug-and-play stability over customization. Conversely, OpenCode pulses in the high-flexibility, lower-cost zone. It's the definitive choice for developers demanding local execution and absolute data privacy. If you want seamless polish out of the box, pay for Claude. If you want to own your tools and dictate your own rules, run OpenCode. If you're tired of walled gardens and want to own your tools, hit subscribe. We uncover open-source gems like this every week. Next up, we're testing how OpenCode handles a 100,000-line legacy Java codebase. You don't want to miss it. OpenCode is currently a significant trade-off. You are sacrificing the stability of a finished product for a level of control that simply doesn't exist anywhere else.